This video is intended to be used as a concise guide for installing the Axxon Next software, as well as for configuring and using its main functions. To install the Axxon Next VMS, run the setup.exe file with administrator rights. The following three types of installation are available when installing Axxon Next to a personal computer. First, server and client, installs client and server services. Second, failover server and client, installs client and server services enhanced with the failover capability. In emergency, power outage, network problems, the failover technology restores the server configuration on another server. And third, client. This type of installation is used for installing the software's user interfaces, which enable any user to connect to any server within a single security system. Select check boxes for the components that you want to install. We recommend installing all components. After installation of the required software and drivers, preparation begins for Axxon Next installation. To proceed with installation, accept the terms of the license agreement and click Next. If the standard installation method is selected, you are prompted to select an Axxon domain. Default values will be used for other steps, settings. Create a new Axxon domain with the name default, or you can add the computer to an Axxon domain at a later time. A message indicating the completion of Axxon Next installation will appear in a new dialog box. Installation of Axxon Next is now completed. More detailed information on the Axxon Next software package is presented in the documents titled User Guide. Proceed to this patch to view the document. Activating an Axxon Next license is done through the Product License utility. To launch the Product License utility, right-click on Axxon Next Trade Tool and select Activate Product. Select the name of one of the Axxon domain servers, which will provide the license file, and log into the system using the Axxon Next administrator name and password, to continue the activation process. To activate a product using the serial number, select the corresponding option. If there is more than one server in the Axxon domain or in the license file, a window showing the maximum number of modules for activation will appear. Modules can be distributed around the system depending on your requirements. For license files or domains with only one server, all the modules will be activated on that particular server. Select the number of modules to activate and click Next. You have activated Axxon Next. When logging into the system for the first time, use the username and password, root, which has administrator permissions. If authorization is successful, a video surveillance monitor will be displayed on the screen. First, let's create an archive. An archive can be placed on local or on network disks. On the base of one server, you can create an unlimited number of archives. To create a new local archive, select an archive volume. And specify the name and color of the archive. Click Apply to save changes. Upon creation of an archive, a pop-up window appears asking to add a device. You can add video cameras and IP servers to the system by using the IP Device Discovery Wizard. Automatic search for new devices will begin. To stop devices search at any time, click the Stop button. The search results are color-coded based on the status of the device. Green for the devices that are fully supported. Yellow for the devices that require manual configuration. Red for the devices the compatibility with Axxon Next is not guaranteed. When adding a device, you can immediately set several configuration options, such as username and password, object ID and name, archive and recording. The default recording mode is based on motion. In this mode, a server-based video motion detection and an automatic rule for writing to the specified archive are created for the camera you are adding. By default, recording stops when a motion detection event is finished. Axxon Next supports adding IP devices via ONVIF protocol. Standard ONVIF protocol does not support multi-streaming. By default, all ONVIF devices in the system are added as multi-streaming as a ONVIF 2.0 device. Adding a device as a ONVIF generic copies all the settings from the device to Axxon Next VMS. Also you can add IP devices manually. To do so, in the neutral colored area above the search results, select the type of IP device that you are adding, specify an IP address and port, and select the manufacturer and model. Click the server object to view the following information. Buttons for creating a system speaker or SMS and email notifications, button for creating an export agent, and button for excluding the server from the Axxon domain. A click on a domain displays your license serial number and expiration date. Additional server can be added to an existing Axxon domain from any server within that Axxon domain. Only servers which do not already belong to any domain can be added. Adding servers to one domain allows you to create a distributed system with multiple servers. Alarms, events and users will interact in the same environment and will be able to operate with all the servers from one workstation. Detection setup takes place using the interface in the Detection Tools tab. To create a detection tool, click Create in the camera's object tree and choose a required tool. If you need to enable recording of video stream metadata, select Yes from the Record Object Tracking list. If there is no need to detect activity on some areas of the scene or if you need to eliminate false alarms from leaves, water, etc., you should set privacy masks, zones where analytics and generation of metadata is disabled. The interface window for configuring automatic rules is shown when any detection tool is selected. That rules are particular actions that are performed when a detection tool is triggered. Now proceed to Users tab and change username and password for administrator as follows. To add a user with individual permissions, create a new role with the necessary permissions and then create a new user account. A role is intended for assigning a group of users individual rights and permissions for administration, management and monitoring of individual components of Axxon Next. A new role has now been created. All users under this role will have the same permissions. Axxon Next allows you to create custom camera layouts. Layouts are created based on standard layout types. To create a new layout, click this button in the context menu and select one of the standard layouts. Let's create some custom layouts. The camera search panel lists all video cameras connected to Axxon Next VMS. If you click a camera, a layout opens with the selected camera view. You can also drag and drop selected camera to the layout. In layout editing mode, space is divided by a grid of equal-sized squares for holding viewing tiles. Every layout consists of cells, which are viewing portals that can hold either video cameras or information boards. Configure Event Board to display only specific events. You can link information boards to the camera. For example, if the viewing tile is linked to Event Board, you can click an event and switch to the archive mode. A click on a particular event on the event board opens the video footage part when that event was triggered. Now let's see how the alerts are displayed in the system. Each alarm event is displayed on Alarms panel as follows. At this panel you can click on the Play button to start playback of the alarm recording. When you double-click on Preview, the playback starts at the camera screen, and here you can process an alarm using 3 colored buttons. There are 3 different possible reactions you can apply for each of the alarms. Each alarm can be investigated separately and marked as a confirmed alarm, as a suspicious alarm that needs further investigation, or as a false alarm. To go to the beginning of the alarm event, click on the small button on the right.